Brandon Barnum, what do you know about referrals? Do you give referrals? Do you receive referrals? Well, Brandon is the referral king. Raving Referrals book series. He's got many of them. He's got at least 4 of them out now. I believe he's coming out with another 3. But he has this whole method of how to get a referral, how to set the stage, what questions to ask. He's also had many platforms. Software platforms that he's authored, that he's created. This is 10th one now is HOA, where he works with homeowner associations and the problems that occur there and how to bridge that gap between the frustrated homeowners and the HOA. But he's really, really focused on referral and just networking. He's got some incredible insights. He has this bank method that's really, really interesting. He has 4 cards that he carries around, and he asks if someone would like to see a magic trick. Wait till you hear about that. Very, very interesting. But Brandon's got a lot of energy, really polished, knows his industry, knows referrals, knows how it can help both individuals and businesses. A really great conversation with Brandon. Thanks so much for listening and watching. Hi, I'm Joey Pinz, and here's my 45-second introduction. After starting my business in the 90s, I started developing poor habits of eating in my diet because I was working way too much. Before you know it, I found myself 340 pounds. The doctor told me if I don't lose the weight, I'm not going to see my daughter graduate. Took the next 7 months, lost 130 pounds. People think there's some secret. Ask me, how'd you lose that weight? Like there's some secret. There is no secret. How'd I lose the weight? Just one word: discipline. I've had other successes in life, and I attribute them all to discipline. Now, I'm not the king of discipline, but I believe that it can help all of us. Friends, colleagues convinced me to start a podcast. The podcast mission: how do we better ourselves and society? I talk to interesting people in health, fitness, sport, wellness, business, technology, science, art, and culture. And I eventually ask them how discipline plays a role in their life. Podcast vision: growth through learning from others. My goodness, Brandon Barnum. So what's the difference between a referral and a recommendation?
Well, I think both are pretty similar. I say I don't want to lead, right? I don't want to find a lead off the internet. I want a referral or a recommendation, but somebody where someone has had a personal experience with me or my company, and they're recommending me, they're referring me, they're transferring the trust that they have with that person onto me.
In this fast-paced MSP landscape, how do you stay ahead? Introducing MSPinfluencer.com, your ultimate hub for MSP news, insights, and community connection, powered by Forza-Dash. More than 75,000 MSPs subscribe to our MSP Influencer Pulse weekly newsletter, staying informed and ahead of industry trends. Tune in to emerging podcasts from Joey Pinz and leading MSP voices, offering essential tips, powerful insights, and success stories. Explore our multi-authored blogs, crafted specifically for MSP leaders, delivering fresh perspectives and actionable strategies. Celebrate excellence with the industry-leading Forza-Dash MSP Influencer Awards, recognizing innovation, leadership, and impact in the MSP community. Join thousands of MSP professionals who trust MSPinfluencer.com to grow their business and expand their networks. MSPinfluencer.com, where today's MSP leaders connect, collaborate, and conquer, all powered by the Forza-Dash platform, helping MSP vendors work effectively with MSPs and helping MSPs grow. So, can a small business grow and depend on referrals consistently?
Massively. I think that referrals need to be a part of every small business's overall marketing mix. You don't want it to be the only thing you do, but it should absolutely be a foundational element of building your business. No question.
And should we compensate somebody for a referral?
Yeah, really interesting question. The jury's split on this. About half of people like to receive compensation and they're motivated by monetization. The other half of people don't feel comfortable with it. So it depends on your industry, and there's regulatory restrictions in some, right, where you have to have a license in order to be compensated. So people have to know about that. I think the best way to motivate is to compensate. It's always great to have champions for your business that are out there scouting for you because they're going to get paid, but it really depends on your business and your business model.
Yeah. And so I've run into this, I'm sure you have. So, somebody gives you a great referral, you want to help them out. So maybe give them a gift card or something like that, or dinner or something, even if they refuse it, just at least something. So they'll be encouraged to do so again. But you're right. It depends on their personality. They might be insulted by that.
Someone that's high nurturing, they don't necessarily care about the cash, right? Somebody
Mm,
that's high action as far as the personality styles, they love to get paid. They love to get compensated. Personally, I love mailbox money. People send me
mm.
money all the time for
Mailbox
making
money.
recommendations. I don't have a problem with it. I just use it to make more impact and help more people.
Never heard that term mailbox money. Now you have a Brandon, you have a whole system of which
Yeah.
referrals get done. You've created a network, you have a questionnaire, it's a whole you have a way of kind of having them go through a little quiz when you're talking to somebody to find out better ways to talk to them. I mean, you're real estate, you're in the real estate. I guess that's you're from that area. You put up a platform in that area, but up north now you're down in the. I'm asking a bunch of questions here. I'm rattling. I realize it, but let's start with a referral network. Why should somebody join a referral network?
Well, I think that the reality is that most people don't have a formal network of people that are sending them business on a regular basis. And when you focus on identifying who's already serving my perfect prospects, there's businesses and business professionals out there that are serving your perfect prospects every day, and they're complementary to you. You mentioned my background. I did 12 years in the mortgage industry when I started my career. So I learned early on to partner with realtors, financial advisors, insurance agents, attorneys, accountants, people that my clients, my prospects, they were going to them for help, and
Mm,
I had the solution to their clients' challenges. So I became the resource that they got to utilize because they'd have clients coming to them and have needs for a mortgage, either purchase finance or refinance. And so they'd be able to refer business to me. So I would help them solve the challenges for their clients.
hmm.
When you identify who those business owners and professionals are, you're helping them help their people by referring that business to you. And how sweet is that?
So you work backwards. Here's the clients I'm trying to get. Here's the people that interact with them. How can I get in touch with them to get me to the client?
Absolutely. Yeah, people refer mostly. You asked about compensation earlier. Some
Yeah.
people refer because they want to make money. Most people refer because they want to help solve the challenge of the people that they help, right?
Hmm.
People come to them and they need help with something. They've got a challenge, or there's an opportunity to improve things. You want to be the solution to their client's challenge. When you do that, then you put yourself in that stream of value and everybody wins.
Hmm. So when you're working with somebody, now do you I get the feeling it's more you're working with realtors, kind of solopreneurs versus businesses. Do I have that wrong?
Well, so what I teach in my Raving Referrals book transcends and goes across for all. I do have a book specifically for real estate agents and mortgage pros. And so I've got some specialty content for the
Mm,
different industry verticals, but I run HOA.com, right?
nice.
So I focus on homeowners. That's my primary focus, is who is out there serving homeowners every day. And basically for most businesses, you either serve homeowners or you serve business owners. For
Hmm.
most companies out there, most professionals, it's one of the two. And there's exceptions to that rule, but it's one of the two. So for those that serve homeowners, that's really how we started HOA.com, was the Homeowner Alliance. Our mission was to create a referral network of professionals who serve homeowners. Along the way, we acquired this domain, HOA.com, which changed everything.
Mm,
Now we're using AI to revolutionize homeowner associations because most people don't love their HOA.
mm. So you're essentially talking about business to business and business to consumer when you're talking
Correct.
about selling to homeowners and selling
Yeah,
to businesses.
that's right.
But it could be those are very two distinctly different operations of sales. So your message has to really differ there.
You focus your message on who your market is. So yeah, we have three different types of avatars, if you will, for HOA.com. We serve homeowners. Ultimately, it's all about the homeowners, but we don't make money by serving homeowners. Homeowners don't pay us for our service.
Ah,
Who pays us are either the HOA boards or the community management company that want our We used to call it SaaS, software as a service. We actually call it community as a service because that's what we're doing is we're manufacturing community within these HOA neighborhoods. So either the HOA boards or the property management companies will pay us for our software solution, or business professionals sign up, realtors, mortgage lenders, painters, plumbers, all those pros who serve HOAs and homeowners, and they want to attract more clients. They do it on HOA.com.
Hmm. Brandon, running a successful mortgage company and real estate is very different from running HOA, a
Yeah.
SaaS platform. I
Yeah.
mean, how were you able to make that shift? Because now you're introducing AI as well. I mean, that's a big lift.
Yeah. Well, I haven't been in the mortgage business since 2009. So since then, I've been building software platforms. This is my
Ah,
10th platform that I've built.
huh.
My first AI platform was back in 2019. So back then, there was no OpenAI, there was no ChatGPT. We had to hire an IBM Watson engineer to build our
Whoa.
AI. So I was pretty much an early pioneer in the AI space, and I've been focused on that world for a long time, analyzing sentiment in communication and conversation. And it's been amazing to see how far AI has grown. And we're just scratching the surface. It's going to be
Mm.
incredible to see the next 3 to 5 years.
The 10th platform, Brandon. Wow. So you're a techpreneur more than anything else.
Yeah, I started out my first platform back in 1997. I built an early version of Zillow when I was in the
Yes.
mortgage business. I realized back then that there were no listings online. If there was an online listing, it had one exterior photo of a home. I'm like, this is silly. People are going to want to sit in their living room and, in their underwear and be able to search for homes. And so that's what we did. We created pdxhome.com back 28 years ago,
Wow.
and we featured listings, and that allowed me to add value to the realtors that I wanted to win referrals from. So I
Hmm.
would feature their listings on pdxhome.com, and it had all the details, kind of now a Zillow listing, all the information you wanted to know. And back then you had to drive across town. If you wanted to see a home, you had to go see it. And this allowed you to sit in your living room and see the homes from the comfort of your own home.
Wow. And so 10 platforms later, you're at HOA. What's the next one going to be?
Honestly, this is so rich and so large that I have no aspirations. I'm not looking beyond HOA.com. We believe we've got the ability to impact just millions and millions of people
Hmm.
through this platform. And it's all creating unity through community. That's what we're all about. But 53% of all homeowners in the US live in an HOA. Most don't love their HOA. And I was just meeting recently with the CEO of Remax, and about 55% of their 145,000 agents are here in the US, and 45% are global in other nations.
Hmm.
And HOAs are a US phenomenon.
Uh,
So our goal is to take this global and really create unity through community and neighborhoods worldwide.
hmm. And why don't people like their HOAs?
Three main reasons. Number one, transparency. They feel like they pay a lot into their HOA and they don't know where it goes. Number two, communication. They feel like they don't really know what's going on with their HOA. And then the third issue is really the politics and the policing. So sometimes it feels like the HOA board president's on an ego trip and,
Hmm.
sort of mandates the way things go, or they're uneven enforcement of the rules. So there's kind of rules for thee, but not for me.
Hmm.
And so those are the issues that we hear of all the time.
And how do you help with that, with those three?
A number of different ways. Like on the communication side, we have an AI where homeowners call in. Our AI knows all of the information about the HOA, the CCNRs, the bylaws, the board information. And so homeowners are able to call and have a conversation with our AI, and we're able to get the homeowner the answers that they need quickly,
Hmm.
which improves homeowner satisfaction, reduces the demand, the workload on the HOA board of the community management company. So everybody wins. So that's just one of the examples. And we're automating much of what the board has to deal with and do with AI. So preparing all the budgets, managing vendors, the architectural review and approval process, all of that can be improved through automation.
Yeah, it certainly can. Let's go back to referrals, Brandon. So when I'm looking for somebody, I'm a homeowner, and when I'm looking for somebody, I would always prefer to find somebody who I get. I mean, I'm from the Northeast originally, and that's all we did up there. Use my guy. I got a guy.
You
I
got
got
a
a
guy.
guy. I got a guy. I got a
That's
guy.
right.
And I'm down here now in the Southeast. Excuse me. And it's amazing. I ask people, "Hey, somebody does this?" No, no, no. Nobody's got a guy around here. So
Isn't that
I
interesting?
it's horrible. So I end up having to go through, regular avenues to find people
Right.
and then kind of develop the relationship there. But really, what other choice do I have?
Yeah, so we're doing a few things that are really going to improve exactly the issue that you're facing. Number one, instead of Angie's list, it should be your list. You should
Mm,
have your own list, which is part of the platform that we're building. We call it a home safe report, everything about your home in one location, including the valuation of your home. But then it's where to go to find a pro. So we have recommendations of vetted, top trusted pros in your area, but
mm,
you'll also be able to favorite your home inspector, your insurance agent, your realtor, your painter, your plumber, because a lot of those guys go in ghost mode, especially the blue collar guys, right? They come out, they fix your painting, your plumbing, your landscaping, whatever it is, and then you never hear from them
mm,
again.
mm,
So
mm,
they're really good at their trade. They're pretty poor when it comes to the communication and the follow up and the fortunes in the follow up. So
mm,
we help you favorite your top people so you got one place to go to. And we do the same for the pros. Like one of the things that we help with the realtors is the realtors give a ton of referrals out and they don't get many back. And they
mm.
typically don't formalize all their referral partnerships. So what we do is we have a profile on HOA.com that features them and how they serve, the area they serve, but it also includes what we call their trusted team. So they can invite and promote the people that they know are going to take care of their clients.
I deal with a lot of tech firms, Brandon,
Mm,
and
mhm.
they're brilliant engineers, but they're
Right,
not good at the soft skills. They're not good at
right,
the follow
right.
up and just marketing engines, etc. So it's the same with these great. The term handyman might be insulting to them, but these great professionals that are good at what they do, they do it and then they move on. They don't think about the follow up. They go on to the next job, and it's not necessarily their fault. But to learn these skills would be better for them in their business and for the clients.
Yeah, and they're transactional than more than relational, right? They're
Mm,
technical. That's where they really thrive is in knowing how to get things done with excellence. And the follow up is where they lack. So that's where we support them to ensure that the homeowners know where to go to find a pro. That's what's important to us. That's the number one issue that we're trying to solve. And then in the process, we help those tradespeople typically
ah,
improve their communication so that the people that they've made a difference to know how to find them and recommend them and hire them in the future.
hmm. There are, Brandon, there are some referral networks. I think of BNI is
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of popular. So are you recommend these kinds of networks?
Oh, absolutely. Ivan Meisner, the creator of BNI, just wrote the foreword for my new book. So we're big
Ah,
BNI fans. Uh, BNI, LaTip, a lot of these organizations do a great job of connecting people,
mm,
and they're intentional about building business together. So we're big fans of that. I also recommend that you consider starting your own group.
hmm,
Right? What if you invited your group, the people that you know, like, and trust, and want to make a really a formalized referral team with, and you had coffee once a month, for example. It's real easy to start. You identify the people that are closest to you, the referral partners that you work with the closest, and then you say, "Hey, let's start a monthly group." And we make it easy. There's an agenda in the Raving Referrals book that kind of walks you through the process. So I recommend you join groups like BNI and then also consider starting your own.
do you ever hire somebody, Brandon, without a referral?
Rarely, I prefer not to. One of the things you mentioned, you're in the B2B space, 84% of business to business sales start with a referral,
Hmm,
right? It's tough to break through that barrier and get to a CEO or a decision maker if you don't have that personal recommendation.
mm,
So on occasion, there will be a situation, but I'm always asking for referrals so that I can find someone that someone I know will vouch for. They've had a
mm,
personal experience and they're willing to put their reputation with me on the line for that
Mm.
person.
Yeah, because there's been times where people say, who do you use for this? And I'd say, I use somebody, but I really can't recommend them.
That's right. Yeah. And you have to give that disclosure and disclaimer. And sometimes you'll refer someone and say, I've only worked with them a time or two.
Mm.
And, I'm happy to give you their information, but I can't put my full endorsement behind them. And that way, you're doing your job and just communicating with integrity.
And as we talk more, and as I learned about you, I kept thinking referrals just like a person, like a tradesman, but it's also could be a firm. It could also be a full blown business as well.
100%. Yeah. That's where I spend my time. So I do three things. I do partnerships, presentations, and podcasts. So
Huh.
right, we're in it here. But I focus first and foremost on partnerships. We're launching a new certification in the HOA space, specifically for real estate agents, called the Certified HOA Specialist. We're teaching realtors how to be experts in HOA transactions. And so I've got a few different partnerships that we've created for this launch. One is with a software company that has 670,000 real estate agents
Hmm.
as clients in their community. Another is similar, and the first two are actually competitors. The other has 900,000 real estate agents that are part of their community. In both cases, they've agreed to promote our program. And so we create an entire go to market launch program with them. With webinars and press releases and social posts, videos that we're doing together. So partnerships are a massive opportunity for your business. If you think about what companies or charities. Charities is another one, right? We recommend people are a charity champion, but who can you partner with that's already serving your perfect prospects so you can add
Hmm.
value to them? In this case, we are sharing a revenue stream, right? So we're offering them referral rewards. They'll get paid on every purchase. And that way we've got them motivated and incentivized to go spread the word.
And there's huge industries, agencies, the whole agent TSD market where their whole business is based on referrals, right? There, it's a lot. It could be a lot of money. Let's talk about ratings for a second. So
Mm-hmm.
all these tradespeople, they all get kind of rated on these platforms. And one of the big things I think Uber really discovered this. I could be wrong, Brandon, but not only does the consumer rate the servicer of the service, but they actually rate the buyer as well.
That's right.
So it comes to a situation where you got so many low stars on Uber, you're not going to get a ride anymore. So can we create a platform that does that as well? Because there can just be some, very difficult buyers that are so
Yeah.
finicky and don't manage, expectations correctly, but it's good to have that bi-directional rating system.
Absolutely. It is super important. And then what we're doing is aggregating ratings into a trust score, right? So
Hmm.
that
A trust score.
homeowners not only have one rating, one source of truth, but we're aggregating those all and compiling, compositing into one trust score.
Hmm.
But you're right. It's important for the pros to also rate the homeowners because not every homeowner operates with the same level of communication and integrity.
Most certainly. Can you remember your first referral you gave or received?
Yeah, I was actually telling this story the other day. Back when I was a kid, you're probably old enough to remember Columbia House records and tapes. Remember that?
Ah,
Yep. So back for us old timers, they had this thing where you would buy music on CDs or cassette tapes
yes,
actually
yes,
back then.
yes.
And so Columbia House was brilliant in that you got 13 tapes for a penny and you paid
Right.
shipping and handling. So it really wasn't a penny, but that was their initial offer. And then what they did is when they send you the cassette tapes, they said, hey, if you refer a friend, we'll give you 4 extra tapes for every friend you refer. Well, I was a teenager and I'm like, hey, this is cool. I got all this music. So I referred 12 other people. I got 48 free cassette tapes just as a result of referrals. And that was my first experience back when I was about 14 years old.
And nobody ever paid the extra fees that you were supposed to pay. But I did hear that they did that because they wanted to increase album sales and kind of blow up what the actual sales were for a lot of these artists.
Well, yeah, absolutely. But just a brilliant business expansion model. What happens is
Mm.
when you've got happy customers, you want to encourage them and invite them to spread the word about your business. And so
Hmm.
that's what they did. We call it referral rewards in the book and in the program. And so think about your business. How can you reward and incentivize people? We say the best way to motivate is to compensate.
Mm.
So if there's a way that you can integrate a reward system, and it can be cash or it can be free use of your services. Maybe you give them a gift certificate for the service that you provide, and that way it's not actually costing you cash out of pocket.
Mm.
You're like what one of the things that we do at HOA.com is for every pro that a certified pro invites to the network who joins, we give them an extra 2 months on the platform at no charge. Doesn't cost us anything. I suppose there's some opportunity cost, but it allows us to create that feel good. Number one, we're asking for referrals, which is the number one challenge that I see is people don't ask for referrals, so they don't get many referrals.
Mm.
But when you integrate and automate the ask as part of your business practice, now it's on people's brains. They're automatically thinking about, oh, who do I know that would benefit from your business?
When people are asking for referrals, Brandon, what are some typical mistakes?
Well, the number one mistake is they don't ask, or they ask in a
Ah,
way that they feel uncomfortable and it makes the client uncomfortable. So I teach the art of the ask, and there's really three
that's
steps.
right.
Number one is to set the stage. Number two is to listen for the referral triggers. And then number three is to ASK to GET, right? So, but the main thing, the most important point is setting the stage. And you don't do this at the end, you do this at the beginning when a client first hires you. What you want to do is you want to say to them, hey, I've got a quick favor to ask. Would it be okay if once I've proven myself to you and really created a 5-star experience where you're just wowed by the service and product that we provide, would it be okay if I ask you for referrals later on?
Hmm.
You'll get 100% of people that will say yes to this because you're not putting them on the spot. You're not asking them for a referral now, but what you're doing is you're planting seeds. Now, the reality is you're really saying, I'm going to do a great job for you. And when I do, I'd like to earn the right to ask you for referrals later on. But
Hmm.
sometimes you'll get referrals right then. People will say, well, now that you mention it, I've got a brother, sister, cousin, aunt, client, coworker that's thinking about buying a house or, looking for a better software solution right now. And I'll go ahead and refer you now. Fantastic.
Hmm.
Awesome. Excellent. Okay. But really, it's about setting the stage and getting their agreement. What happens now is you start serving that client. All through the process, it's on their brain. They're meeting, they're having conversations, they're talking about the fact that they're painting their house. Oh, who are you using? I'm using Pete's Painting. Oh, that's good. Are they doing a great job? They're doing awesome. Communication's excellent. They show up on time. They clean up after themselves. It's fantastic, right? So you'll get more referrals, but it's about setting the stage. And then step two is listening for the referral triggers. And that's basically like, wow, man, this is great. You've done such an amazing job. This looks fantastic. I feel so much better. I've made so much money. I've lost so much weight. Whatever the solution is that you provide, you're listening for wow. And
Hmm.
ideally, they say wow, but maybe they say, thank you so much. This is awesome. That's the referral trigger. Now they're in a peak referral state. They've experienced your service
Hmm.
firsthand. So now, once they say thank you in any form, it's time to ASK to GET. That's step three. Now it's time to ask the right time in the right way, which is, I'm so glad to hear that. Remember early on, we started working together. I told you I was going to go above and beyond to provide a great service for you. Well, now that you've experienced this for yourself, I'm looking to take on a couple other clients. So do you know anyone that is thinking about buying a house right now, painting their home right now? Right. And so now you're having a conversation, you're asking the right time in the right way, and people feel more comfortable and confident because they've already experienced the service you provide.
Hmm. People love to buy, but they hate being sold to.
That's right.
So how do you bridge that gap, Brandon? That's a tough one.
Yeah, well, it is a tough one. And the biggest thing is that you serve, don't sell. It
Yeah.
starts with your mindset. So many people are thinking about themselves when they're out there in their business, especially if they don't have enough business, they kind of carry that scarcity vibration with them. And when they change their focus from focusing on what they want to what they're going to do for other people, and they focus on serving, that's when they start attracting more clients. Because if you're out there just out there looking to get, then you're pitch slapping people. You're one of those people goes to a networking event and you're not asking about the other person. You're just telling people what you do. And people don't necessarily care about what you do. What they care about is what they care about. So find out what they care about and find out how you can help them. When you serve instead of selling, you'll get all the clients that you could ever want.
Like I said, I deal with a lot of tech firms, and they just have this negative stigma of just sales. It's you're trying to sell something to somebody, that something they don't need, or that that used car salesman has done so much
Yeah.
negative damage to the sales industry. Without sales, you're not going to grow. We have to take that back. I like the idea of serving and not selling.
Well, it's a different place that we're
Mm,
coming from, right? So when you're focused on serving, it's all about the other person. How can I help you improve and get whatever result
mm,
that you're out to get? And when you really focus on that, sometimes your solution isn't what's best for them.
hmm.
And if you're upfront with them and just say, hey, I don't think we're the best option for you. I've got a couple other recommendations. People go, wait, what? Right? Because it's clear at that point that you're not selling for your benefit, you're serving for theirs.
Hmm. Yeah, find the pain and try to help.
Hmm.
You hear that, but, to when I coach some of these small businesses, a lot of times too, they're tech led, Brandon, and they keep on throwing feature, feature, feature. Forget about features. Value is what we got to promote. What value are you bringing?
It's all about the benefits. People care about what they care about, right? What's
Mm.
in it for them. They don't necessarily care. And on the software side, I get it. My wife sells enterprise software, right? So we have this
Ah,
conversation a lot because she's focused on C-level executives that she's selling into. And if features are part of the challenge, but really it's what are they looking for? In her
mm,
case, a lot of cybersecurity, right? So ensuring the stability and security of the solution. Money's always an issue, right? So they're always competing with others. You have to get into it. But when you focus on the solution that the other client or customer is looking to solve and acquire, then it really shifts the game because people can tell that you're solution oriented.
Hey, Joey Pinz here. Want to take your podcast experience to the next level? I'm excited to invite you to become a YouTube member. It's the absolute best way to support the channel and enhance your connection. Join our amazing community and unlock the incredible perks, custom loyalty badges, exclusive emojis, and priority comment replies. Your voice will always stand out. Be the first to watch new videos with early access, receive special membership shoutouts, and get exclusive behind the scenes photos and updates. Dive into content available only to our members, special videos, deep dives, and insider perspectives. Engage directly with me. Suggest podcast topics you want to hear, and even get personalized video shoutouts. Hit the join button right now and become part of something special. Let's build this amazing community together. I can't wait to welcome you as a new member. Join the Joey Pinz family today. We follow BANT when it comes to sales, but you have a bank method.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
What's that?
So bank is personality science, is what that is. And what the reality is that every single person that you encounter has a personality code, like their DNA. And so I use a system called Bank Code, BANK, and it stands for Blueprint, Action, Nurturing, and Knowledge, right? So if you understand your clients and your customers, then you can really connect in a way that makes the biggest difference. So with Blueprint personality types, they're all about process and systems and structures. They're going to show up early to the meeting, right? Very detail oriented. They're looking for predictability in the results that they create. So with somebody like that, you've got to really help them understand the step-by-step process that they're going to go through when they buy from you and hire you. Then you've got the action personalities, and They're all about the sizzle. They love the spotlight. They're happy to be on stage. They're about fun and opportunity and excitement, and you're going to net it out quick for them. They don't want a lot of details. You're going to bore them with details,
Hmm.
right? So they're the bright, shiny object people, but they get stuff done because they take a lot of action. Then you've got nurturing personalities, and they love people and community, charity. So they're all about making a difference in the world. With them, make sure you keep good eye contact and focus on the impact that you're creating together. Income is less important to somebody that's high nurturing. It's
Hmm.
all about the difference that you're making and how you're making your community or your world a better place. And then lastly, you've got the knowledge personalities, and knowledge personalities are all about the science. They want to do the research. So if you've got a knowledge buyer, you want to take your time and give them all the information they need to make a wise and informed decision.
Hmm.
If somebody's high knowledge, you don't want to pressure them to make a decision before they're ready, because if you press them, you'll repel them. They will pull back. And the beauty is when you understand someone's personality, this is how they buy, why they buy. In fact, it's from the book, Why They Buy. So this isn't my creation. This is Sherry Tree's creation. But the book, Why They Buy, goes into it. And when you understand someone's personality code, it's like knowing the PIN code for the bank account. You can unlock the vault because you customize your conversations and your presentations so that they feel comfortable and confident, and they'll buy from you much faster.
Hmm. When it's revealed to me by an outside source or from the individual itself that I'm selling to that they have some kind of narcissistic habits, I love it because now, right? Because now I just have to make them look good in this sale and they'll eat it up, right? As
Right?
so knowing the buyer makes all the difference in the world.
It's huge. It's huge. So I told you earlier, I was an early innovator in AI, and this is what it was. Is I learned this system. I got introduced to the CEO and the creator of the system, and she hired me to come help build the AI to decode someone's personality style.
Hmm.
And we did a research study when I was CEO. I wanted to, because I come from the real estate world, I wanted to understand the impact on real estate sales. And what we found was when real estate agents will customize their conversations and presentations to match the bank code, they more than doubled their conversion percentage on
Wow.
listings. They increased it by 123%. And so any kind of business professional that wants that edge when they're out there winning business, it's amazing. And it's instant empathy, because once you understand what motivates someone, just like you said, right? If they're narcissistic, play to their ego,
Oh yeah.
right?
That's great. It's a home run. Yeah, I'm making this sale.
100%.
Yeah.
If they're a financial analyst, man, you got to
Yeah.
focus on
That's right.
savings,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
understand what matters to them and then help them get it.
Amongst the many things you are, Brandon, you mentioned the books you've written. What how do you write? How do you write? How are you an author? Do you storyboard? Do you plan it out? Or do you tell me what your process is?
Yeah, my first book, Raving Referrals, took about 10 years to write. And
Jeez.
I started, and it was because I started it and then I set it aside until,
Right.
2020. And then we had a lot of time on our hands. I'm like, I got
Mm,
to get that book done. So I did. But the first book, what I did is I started by teaching it. And I created an 8-week course where those 8 weeks became a module, they became a chapter in the
mm,
book. So if you want to write a book, think about either your blog posts. If you had different, start with a table of contents. Really, what is it that you want to teach? Write it out in a table of contents format. Go do a podcast or a blog on each of those different topics. You could transcribe it. And these days, you can use AI to write a book quickly and easily. That's not what I did. I wrote every single word. Now, my mentor is Mark Victor Hansen, who wrote all those Chicken Soup for the Soul books.
right.
And so he sold over 500 million books. And I learned from him, don't write a book, build a brand.
Hmm.
You don't get rich on selling books. Where you get rich is by using books to build your credibility and your expert authority. And that's when people hire you. So it changes the game. You increase the amount you charge. I get hired to come speak at events, which is awesome because now people are paying me and
Mm.
flying me in to speak in front of an audience of my perfect prospects, which is pretty cool.
Hmm. So how many books has it been now?
I've got 4 altogether. And
What?
the way that I've done it now is Raving Referrals was the first. There you go. There's all 4.
Wow.
And so what I've done is every subsequent book is still on Raving Referrals, but we've customized it for an individual audience, much like Chicken Soup for the Soul, right? Chicken Soup for
Mm.
the golfer's soul. Yesterday was the Masters. And so
Sure
people
was.
that are into golf wanted that book. Well, much the same, we just released the Raving Referrals for Real Estate Agents book. And we featured about 250 companies and influencers in the book. And I mentioned those 2 companies earlier that I partnered with, one with 670,000 agents, another with 900,000 agents. I featured them in the book first.
Hmm.
I gave first. I reached out to them and let them know, hey, I'm impressed with your company so much so that I'm going to feature it in my upcoming book, Raving Referrals for Real Estate Agents. Now that got me into conversation where they're like, wow, it got their attention. And attention is how you started marketing, as I'm sure you know.
Mm.
And by giving first and adding value to them and showing up as a solution, which is different than most people approach other businesses with, right? It got their attention, and now we got into a transaction.
Hmm. You mentioned golf. The Masters was yesterday, and in the beginning of the conversation, we talked about getting, knowing who your client is and then working backwards. Many golfers play golf from the green back. Here's the hole, and they look at it backwards. How am I going to approach it? I think there's lots of parallels there, uh, to growth. Brandon, has there been anything in the last month or so that you changed your mind on?
Ooh, that's a good question. Uh, hmm. I can't think of anything that comes to mind offhand. Really good question. I'll have to think that through. Nothing that comes to mind offhand. One of the things that my co-author, Verl Workman, in the Raving Referrals for Real Estate Agents book, I've been teaching SMART goals for years, and he came up with stupid goals. So this is something that I've embraced. It's been about two months now, but the stupid goals are: start by being strategic, transformational, unrealistic, purpose driven, innovative, and dynamic, right? So rather than the typical SMART goal strategy, he's like, I don't want to do SMART goals. I want to do stupid goals. I don't want realistic. I want unrealistic. I want to be shooting for a higher mark. And in the process, creating really something transformational. So I'd say that's something I've embraced. It's been about 2 months, but that's the most recent.
And of course, SMART is specific,
Measurable,
measurable,
attainable, realistic,
realistic,
and
and
time
timely.
bound.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
it's very like create a plan for it, which is cool. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But when it comes to stupid goals, it's like, okay, let's think outside of the box. There is no box, there is no spoon.
Mm.
If we were to
B
create our goals with a magic wand, what would our goals be?
mm. BHAG. You're familiar with the
Big, heavenly, audacious goal?
Yes, it's
Yeah.
so similar, I guess. Doesn't
Well,
really have
that's
any
a
power.
goal. Like that's the
Ah,
master goal, right? What are
right.
you up? My BHAG is to inspire, uplift, and empower every person on the planet. That's my
Huh.
mission. That's why I'm here. That's my scoreboard. That's a massive BHAG, right? But within that, I've got, for me personally, I've got hundreds of goals and I have them all written down, and I've got
Wow.
dates for all the things that I hope to accomplish and achieve over the next, really, this goes through the year 2050.
Huh.
So I love claiming victory. And this is something, again, that Mark Victor Hansen taught me to do, right? The first day I met him, he challenged me to write 101 goals. And at that point, I really didn't have written goals. And this was May 18th of 2004. So over 20 years now that we've been friends. And that process changed my life because when I got specific and I wrote down what I wanted, things started happening immediately. Like I wrote some outlandish, unrealistic goals. Like I wanted to meet Bono
Hmm.
in 1 year's time, and I met Bono from U2 in 6 months.
Wow.
Would that have happened had I not written that goal? I don't think it would have. But
Hmm.
me focusing my attention and intention on that goal and sharing it with others led to somebody saying, "Hey, I've got a backstage pass. And would you like to meet Bono?" I said, "Yes, I would. Here we go."
Wow.
I got to go to the opening night of the Sphere and watch U2 live at the
Wow.
Sphere. And again, somebody knew that I was a U2 fan and invited me to that event.
That's
So
awesome.
getting clear on what it is you want to achieve and then sharing that with other people enrolls and enlists other people in helping your dreams and goals come true.
But your approach to kind of problem solving and goal setting, I'm going to guess is more science than art.
Yeah, there's definitely the scientific approach to it. Yeah. And part
Mm.
of that is I've had great mentors that have taught me their processes, right?
Mm.
I think everybody should be mentored and everybody should be a mentor. I'm a big brother, right? Big brother, big sister. So I've got a 17-year-old junior in high school that I'm mentoring right now.
Mm.
I just met with a group of, I'm going to call them kids. They're 20 to 24. And I was, a friend of mine owns a film studio and they were renting out his studio to have an electronic dance music party, EDM party. And so I'm like, oh, I'll go check that out. So I got to go to it and met those guys. And last Friday, I had kind of a coaching session because I'm like, look, if you ever need some counsel mentoring, I'm happy to meet with you. So I had the four owners of this music production company, kids in their 20s on, and I basically did a 45-minute coaching session with them. And it was so cool to be able to help the next generation. People, I look for leaders. I'm looking for people that are going to step up and lead, people that want to make a difference in their community, in their city, in their country. And when I find people like that, I pour into them as much as I can.
Do you ever ask your gut, let your gut make a decision for you?
Yeah, I actually have a process that I've learned for that where I can ask my spirit questions,
Huh.
and it's a form of muscle testing, but I'll literally sway either forward or backwards after asking a question in a certain way to get my guide to give me the answer.
Your guy.
Guide,
Oh, your guide. I see.
guide.
So you use some science, but sometimes you rely on your gut.
Oh yeah, I'm always asking God for guidance. So
I see.
I wrote this down the other day, guidance. And for the first time ever, I saw the word dance in guidance. And I'm like,
Hmm.
okay, so when I'm asking God to guide me, it's really doing the dance. And if I let Him lead and just ask for guidance and clarity, then it's an incredible experience. So that's my new word is guidance. And it's almost a God dance,
Yeah, dances and guidance. I just wrote it
right?
down. You're right. Yeah, it's
I'd
right
never
there.
noticed that
Yeah, I never
before.
noticed that.
And I
No.
wrote it down and I'm like, oh, let's do the dance. Come on.
So, Brandon, I started my tech firm in the 90s and I was working way too long, 14-hour days. You're no stranger to this.
Yeah.
And, putting my health in the back seat.
Mm.
And next thing you know, I'm in front of the doctor. I'm at 340 pounds.
Whew.
And she says to me, if you don't lose this weight, you're not going to see your daughter graduate. My daughter was just born and she knew that, of course.
Mm.
So I'm driving home upset with myself, punching the steering wheel. It's my pie hole. I've done this to myself.
Right.
So I spent the next 6, 7 months, lost about 130 pounds, kept it off. These kinds of things you can't look at as a finishing line, right? It's
That's right.
lifelong changes. So when I tell people this story, I always, what's your secret? What you do? And there's no secret, Brandon. Discipline. That's how I lost. Like I have motivation, focus, willpower, etc.
Yeah.
All under discipline. How does discipline play a role in your life, Brandon?
I think everything comes down to discipline. Discipline is how do you spend your days, right? Do you have a process by which you go through your days? And I'm disciplined in a lot of things. Yeah, and I think discipline is critical to success, right? Are you willing to do the things that you may not want to do so that you get the results that you want to have, right? I love the book, The Compound Effect. And when we talk about exercise or eating, there's a great story in the book, The Compound Effect, and it's really talking about the difference that 100 calories a day makes. And if you look at the course of a year, reducing your consumption by 100 calories will help you get in tremendous shape over the course of the year. Increasing your consumption by 100 calories can do the opposite. So a simple thing like 100 calories a day when you're disciplined in what you're ingesting and then how you exercise can make a huge difference.
So you equate discipline to kind of routine, it seems.
I think
Maintaining your
that's part
day?
of it. Yeah, that's how I experience discipline is, am I going to do the thing that I know I should do to get the result that I know that I want?
Hmm. What motivates you, Brandon?
Impact. Impact. I'm here to make as much of an impact as I can on as many people as I can. As I mentioned before, my mission is to uplift, inspire, and empower every person on the planet. That's my scoreboard. So I ask people, if you had to, just like these bank cards, right? When I meet people in person, I'll say, you want to see a magic trick? Do me a favor, look at the cards, sort them in order what's most like you to least like you. And what happens is in 30, 60, 90 seconds, they'll sort the cards and then they'll hand them back to me. And now I know what's most important to them.
Hmm.
And I like to ask the question, when it comes to income, influence, and impact, if I gave you those three cards, what would be most important to you? And typically it's in that order. Income for most people is first and foremost, influence second, and impact third. And for me, it's the opposite.
Hmm.
So I want to impact as many people as possible. I want to inspire them to live better, do more, strive for more, right? And part of the mission of unity through communities, I want to also help them connect with their neighbors and really be intentional about who they're doing life with. I think a lot of people these days feel disconnected, even though they're more connected than ever, right? So part of what we do at HOA.com, the reason we call it community as a service is we help the communities connect. We have about 100 different community impact events where we bring neighbors together so they actually do life with the people they live next door to. We just
Hmm.
did a kickball tournament 9 days ago.
Hmm.
And it was so cool, man, because I got to come out and be a part of this. And there were dads playing cornhole. The kids are playing kickball, and the moms are listening to music, dancing, having a good time. But I looked out at every person in the park, and there was about 75 people there. And when I scanned every person in the park, not one person was on their cell phone.
Uh,
Everybody was just connecting with their neighbors, talking, having a great time. And that's what it's all about.
when you ask somebody to you got those 4 cards, that bank method we talked about earlier, and kind of arrange them as far as their priority of their life,
Yeah.
how do you know, do you take a picture of what what they did? How do you remember that for future reference?
Yeah, sometimes I'll take a picture. I'll have them hold up the cards, right, in
Ah.
order. Otherwise, I keep contacts in my phone, and next to their name, I'll have their bank code, NABK, right, or
Hmm.
KNAB, whatever their code is. Just like a PIN code, right? It's 4 digits, and if you know the order of that personality code for them, it helps you build a better relationship. It's not all about money. It's just about connection. But I call it instant empathy because once you understand how someone is wired, who God created them to be, what
Mm.
is their natural personality, now you can connect with them in a way that what used to drive you crazy about other people, now you appreciate their strengths instead of seeing it as a weakness.
Hmm. Yeah, you knowing who, how your prospect suspect works is a really, really maybe unfair advantage. I mean, it's a great
Yes.
advantage. So when you say you want to see a magic trick,
Yeah.
how do you preface them? Or I mean, it's at an event, it's at a function.
Yeah, it depends. So I always, if I'm going to an event, I always have the bank cards in my back pocket. And I'll literally say, do you want to see a magic trick? I've had 100% of people that say yes to that. No one has ever said no. I don't want to see a magic trick. They always say yes. And the cool part about it, and part of why I call it a magic trick, it's all about them. So I hand them the cards and I'll say, do me a favor, read the information on the cards, sort them in order of what's most like you to least like you. That will help me serve you better and save us both time. And they typically take 30, 60 seconds to sort the cards. They hand them back to me. And then I'll take 60, 90 seconds to explain to them who they've just told me they are. And the beauty is, it's all about them. I'm not talking about me at all. What do people care about most? Themselves. And so when you're talking about them and they're like, okay, well, who you've just told me you are is, and then you start describing, you just use the words right on the cards, and they're like, oh yeah. And the coolest part is within I was at this tech event recently and I was talking to this guy after the event. The event ended, it's networking time, and I tell him this story, I decode him, and I say, the coolest part is normally within about 3 minutes of meeting somebody, they're like, wow, he gets me. Okay. So I literally told him this story and I said, they say, wow, he gets me. Right at that moment, one of the speakers from the tech conference came over and she had heard magic trick and she said, I want to see a magic trick. So I hand her the cards, took her 30 seconds to look at the cards. She was high action. She gave the cards back to me. I took 60 seconds to describe who she was. She turns to the guy. I just met her 90 seconds ago. She turns to the man I'm talking to and she says, wow, he gets me. Now, this is somebody that was influential. They're the leader. Do you think that opens up opportunities? Because now I've got her curiosity and she knows that I understand who she is, right? So she feels seen. And that's what's so important here. When people feel like you care about who they are and what they care about, now you've got their ear. Now they're leaning in instead of pulling back.
Brandon, do you then reveal what yours is?
If they ask,
What is yours?
they typically don't ask, by the way. So there's an advanced assessment. I am 25 out of 25 when it comes to nurturing. I am 24 out of 25 when it comes to action. I am 21 out of 25 when it comes to blueprint, and 19 out of 25 when it comes to knowledge. ANBK.
I'm sorry?
ANBK.
You're ANBK. Yeah, I'll have to take a look. I mean, DISC and Myers-Briggs and these kinds of things, and there's seems to be more and more coming out. But those take a little bit longer to assess, obviously.
Well, look, they're all fantastic assessments. It's all the universal truth. So whatever system you use, DISC, Myers-Briggs, Colby Index, they're all great systems. MBTI, well, that's Myers-Briggs, all great systems. The challenge is with most of them, how do you use it? You got to send someone a link, hope that they take 10, 15, 20 minutes to go through this excruciating questionnaire to answer this thing where nobody feels good after they fill it out.
Right.
Right. And then hopefully you get the information back. With this, I've got this in my pocket all the time. And it really is a magic trick, not only for them, but mostly for me, because now I've uncovered and understood who they are within minutes of meeting them. And if I go into a business, like you asked, what are the settings? Networking event, absolutely. I've always got them with me. Even if I'm meeting somebody for the first time, I'll usually carry them with me. I don't necessarily start the meeting that way, right? I look for an opportunity where it's a natural integration into the conversation. And then I'll ask them, do you want to see a magic trick? So I use it strategically and I look for the opportunity so it doesn't feel uncomfortable for them. But the beauty is it's all about them. So as soon as I get into it, then they're like, wow, this is so cool. And they love the experience. And then what I'll ask is, if you'd like, I'd be happy to send you a free report on your own personality so that you can understand yourself better. And then I'll take that code and I'll plug it into a website that we've got where it'll send them a free report. And what happens is then they want to start using it in their business. And so the cycle continues.
Want to show your love for discipline, inspiration, and the Joey Pinz podcast? Now's your chance. Introducing the brand new Joey Pinz merch store, where style meets discipline. Choose from premium apparel, cozy hoodies, stylish hats, durable bags, and your new favorite coffee mug, all featuring the iconic Joey Pinz logo. Perfect for podcast fans, discipline enthusiasts, or as unique gifts for friends and family. Every purchase supports the Joey Pinz Discipline Conversations podcast, helping us continue to inspire greatness and promote positive change. Visit joeypins.com/store today and wear your discipline proudly. Joey Pinz merch. Wear it, share it, and live it. It certainly does. So given your motivation, Brandon, of impact and, wanting to elevate everyone on the planet, how do you measure success?
Great question. It's really about the impact. I've got a world map on my wall right across from me. I've got my goals written down for 4 different ventures that I'm in. HOA.com, number 1, Raving Referrals, number 2. I am the chairman of the Christian Business Alliance. So we're helping believers in business connect and create fellowship within their congregations. And then I have a real estate video company that I'm the chairman of. I'm kind of mentoring these guys, but I'm a partner in the company. So within each of those, I have measurements for the number of clients and customers, the amount of revenue that we're going to create, and ultimately the number of lives that we're going to impact as a result of those ventures.
Do you approach hobbies the same way you do business?
No, hobbies are just for fun. I love scuba diving and playing volleyball, playing poker. Those are, kind of 3, and pinball, I guess. So those are my 4
Hmm.
kind of things that I love to do. But they're more action oriented,
Mm.
right? So I don't need much of a plan. I'm going to go and experience.
Hard to find pinball machines, Brandon. Where do you have some?
Yeah, so it's not hard if you know where. So
Oh, I see.
the number 1 pinball machine maker is called Stern. If you download the Stern mobile app, they have a map. And so if I'm traveling, I'll pull up the app and it'll show me where all the machines are in the city. And so, I was just
Good
in
for you.
Vegas at the Remax conference, and the pinball hall, I want to call Hall of Fame, but I don't think that's right. Maybe it is. Anyway, yeah, I think it is the Hall of Fame. Pinball Hall of Fame is there in Vegas. They have like 365 different pinball machines.
Oh my goodness.
So I just went 2 nights ago with my mom. My mom is 80 years old, and I can go take her out to play pinball. She's got Alzheimer's, but she can still sit there and flip the flippers, right? And so we go have a good time. Last week we had 4 of us that went to a specific place and went and played pinball together. So it's something that I love doing. I go with my 21-year-old daughter. We go have a good time, and it doesn't take a lot, but it's a lot of fun.
It still takes quarters?
It depends, quarters or tokens, depending on where you play.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, they're really fun. I mean, I played more video games in arcades when I was younger, but it was always the sound of those pinball machines that were always so kind of alluring, and go over there and so much is going on. It's really maybe a lost skill, or they're making a lot of new ones?
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Are
yeah.
they
So
really?
Stern, again, this is probably the number 1 manufacturer, and they do a lot of games that the movies or the artists. So they
Right.
do, like John Wick, Avengers. They have all
Mm,
kinds of different. The best game right now is the newest game, and it's Dungeons and Dragons.
really?
And when you get multi-ball, there's 6 balls at the same time.
Wow.
And it is the most stimulating thing that you're going to do outside of your house. And it's really incredible. And so anyway, I take people there for the first time, and they have a lot of fun.
Hmm. I just sparked an interest. I should. There's a nice kind of low cost, not too time consuming hobby, right? Because so many
Oh yeah.
things takes too much time and it's so expensive.
Yeah, I mean, you can go in for 15 minutes and just play a game or 2, or,
Right.
last Thursday we were there at the pinball place. They had 65 different pinball machines in
Wow.
Tempe, near where I live, and we were there for 4 hours.
Huh.
So it just depends. But yeah, download the Stern app, Stern, Stern Pinball, and you'll set up your account. And then there's a map. And if you just click that map, it'll show you all the places in your area that have
So cool.
pinball machines. And go check it out, man. It's a ton of fun. You'll have a great time.
Plus, it brings people together. They're not behind a screen. Yeah, that's a
Well,
really nice
and
activity.
here's another thing. I love inviting people out to events. So I
Ah,
invited about a dozen people to play pinball last Thursday night. Not everybody's going to say yes, but it allows me to give to them, to invite them out to
hmm,
something. Same thing, we talked about networking earlier. Never network alone. If you're going to a networking event, invite other people. Even if they don't come, you get credit for inviting. It gives you a give to offer to them. If they do come, now you get to work the event together. You make sure that you help them understand who you're looking to attract, your perfect prospect or partner, and then they're on the lookout for you. You both feel more confident and secure because you're going into that event together. So you got kind of a networking wingman.
hmm.
The other thing that I recommend is when you go to a networking event, always introduce yourself to the organizers of the event. Tell them
Ah,
who it is that you're looking to connect with. Have an objective. Don't just go in there blindly bumping into people, hoping
hmm.
you're going to meet somebody. Have a plan, have a strategy. Who is it that you want to meet? And then introduce yourself to the people that are organizing the event. Let them know, hey, the reason I'm here is I'm looking for a great financial advisor, CPA, whatever it is. They know the people in the room, and it's their job to get you connected. So you help them do better at their job, and they help you. And now, what I say afterwards is, do you mind introducing me? So
Mm.
now they actually take you to that person and get you connected and help tell the story of why that person should take time to meet with you. So that's kind of a pro hack, if you will, when it comes to networking events.
Well, Brandon Barnum, I thank you so much for your time. I know what you're doing. I love what you're doing out there. I love your energy, and it's contagious and so positive. Anybody watching or listening, how can they get in touch with you?
Yeah, so if you serve HOAs, obviously you can go to HOA.com, or if you serve homeowners. But for me personally, you can connect at BrandonBarnum.com.
Brandon spelled in Barnum, Barnum.
Correct. Just
We'll
like the
make
greatest
sure
showman.
like the greatest show on earth. Yes. Thank you so much for your time. Next time I'm in that general Arizona area, perhaps we'll go get a cup of tea and play a little pinball.
Come on, JP, let's do it.
You be well.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
Thank you for listening and or viewing Joey Pin's Discipline Conversations. Please share this episode with one or two of your friends who you think may benefit from the episode. Our website, www.joeypins.com. There you'll find lots of resources and you could join our mailing list. Please follow us on all our social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Podcast information, the video version of our podcast is on YouTube. Please subscribe. Audio is on all major podcasting platforms. Please follow them. And if you like it, please consider giving 5-star rating. Would really appreciate that. Thank you again for listening or watching Joey Pin's Discipline Conversations.